Good morning, everyone. It is a cool Saturday morning, and we're coming over to do a quick walkthrough. We were here a week ago, and we saw insulation going in, and they're already moving on. We're getting ready to do sheetrock now and external stucco. So let's take a quick walk around, and I'll show you some of the details. So in here in the living room, because the ceiling is over 20 foot tall, or the top of the ledge is, for extra support, they're putting what's called a shear wall. So they put all of this wood up here and on this side as well as extra support because of the height of the building. So for wind shear, right, or any kind of shifting of the house, anything like that. So this is just going to give the overall structure of the home a lot more strength. And that's, I mean, when I'm looking at how this is built, and this house is going to last for hundreds of years. You know, it's just going to last forever. So that's so exciting. Okay, so they've delivered all the sheetrock, so that goes up next. All the little window details. There's still two windows that we're having a little bit of issues with, but they did adjust something, and so now they have to come out and just fix some hinges or something like that. But they want all the windows absolutely squared, plumb, perfect before we start doing interior and exterior wall surfaces. Because once that starts, then you got a really big problem. It's already a big problem if you want to shift it now, but it's better now than later. So these last three, and they were working fine, so I don't know what happened. I'm not sure. But anyway, those have been addressed. We've got all the insulation in. There's a couple of light fixtures. They're the ceiling mounted can lights that are not in yet. I don't know if you can see, but we've got two on this end, two in the middle, two on this end. There's a red flag. It's still the light fixture has not been mounted. But the plan is to put those in after the sheetrock goes up. So they are going to be, the housing is going to be considered a remodel housing. So it'll go in after the fact. There's something particular about those four fixtures. They're different than the other cans that we set in the house. So, of course, all the electrical is 100% done. All of the audio, visual, and security and monitoring systems, that is all completely done. Plumbing is finished. We do have a plumbing snafu. We caught it yesterday. So let's walk around. I'll show you that. That's kind of a funny little thing. I came by with the builder and the interior designer just to look at the kitchen counters and the service counters to see if we liked where the placement of the electric outlets would be. And because, you know, I bought this beautiful tile and then you stick this plug there. So we decided that the company that's doing the interior plaster, that they can paint that to be an exact match with the tile. So, so it'll fade in. But while we were here, we were looking at this powder bath. This is the half bath. And it's a good sized bathroom. But we were looking at how we could, because of course in bathrooms you want sound insulation. So you don't hear everybody, you know, washing hands and using the restroom. So that we have this sound here, but we have a pocket door on the back of the dining room. And I said, can we insulate this? And we're like, yeah, absolutely. So we're going to put, you know, a piece of this foam board and then a double sheeted sheetrock, and we'll do that and it'll be fine. But then we started measuring and we said, okay, well, let's just double check that we have room here for the toilet, which we do, it's fine. But then we looked at this, here, the plumbing for the sink, and it is about 7 inches too far to the left. So we have to move plumbing already this late in the game. And I'm like, you know, if we caught that, you know, a month ago, they would have just done it as part of the job. But now they have to come back because on the other side of the wall, they've already put the shear wall on that side. So we have to do everything from this side, which they can do, but we need to move all of this plumbing, the drain pipe and the fixture mount, 7 inches to the right. But I'm glad we came over yesterday and did that.
What was the rationale for
having to do that?
For having to do that, yeah. What's
Okay,
the,
so this here in this powder bath, the sink is actually a furniture piece. So it's
okay,
like
okay.
this piece of furniture, and it has this bowl on it, and the faucets are wall mounted, so they come out and go
Got
into
it.
the bowl. And so it's supposed to be centered on the space between the wall and the toilet. And so now it's centering it, like if we count this as the center, that means the cabinet will end here. So it'll be smaller. The cabinet will be much smaller. And then there's this big giant gap between the cabinet and the toilet. I mean,
Yeah.
like really big.
Yeah.
So it would, when you walk in, you'd be like, that looks weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it would look weird. So.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's more the
It's more of a
like
visual.
placement and aesthetic of it all, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
The flow.
And this is the really nice part about a custom home is that you can
Make
do
those
that,
kinds of decisions,
right?
Yeah.
It's not just some builder slapping it together and go, it's all right, and walk
Yeah.
away because
Because they will do that.
yeah, and it's okay, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it still functions. It's still a beautiful sink. But when you walk in from over here, you're going to be like, wow, there's this big gap there. That's weird.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, mentally, right? These
Yeah.
are visual things and architectural things that people don't notice, but then they do.
It's
right?
a flow thing also.
Uh-huh.
If it like what's that term? Like the feng shui
Yeah, feng
of,
shui.
of
there
the
you
like
go.
of the home.
That
like
things
with the
are
things
done right
yeah.
and things are done placed with intention and
Yeah.
sure.
When things are done right, nobody questions it, but they love it. But if things are a little bit off, it becomes like glaring.
Yeah.
Like you can't ignore it after that.
It's
Like you
true.
can't unsee it.
It's true.
Yeah.
I know when I built the gym, the architect asked me to put these reveals in the sheetrock because the walls, the sheetrock walls were really high. And he goes, if you just have that flat wall, it's going to look odd. He goes, you need to put these reveals in. And and it was extra money. Of course, we didn't have any money, and but I said, okay, fine, let's do it. And you don't notice them. Nobody walks up to me and goes, oh, that's interesting. No, they don't even see it, right?
Yeah.
But what they see is more pleasing to the eye.
Yeah.
And so it's there. It's not anything people comment on, but it changes the way you see something. So that kind of an effect here too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was good that we came in here, and it was by happenstance. It wasn't on the list.
to-do list that day.
Yeah. But this is a nice size half bath. Let's cut through the wall. I brought the dogs with me today. They wanted to get out of the house this morning, didn't you, babies? Yes. They get to see where they're going to live. You're going to talk? Okay. I know. You sweet babies. Service kitchen. So we came in to talk about the placement of the plugs on this wall because I bought this beautiful green, emerald green tile to go on this wall. It's going to be, just beautiful. But we've figured that out. The interior finish person can help us finish that. But we also looked at the cabinetry that's going to go on this wall. So this entire wall, floor to ceiling, is shelving. So pantry shelving. And so there's 4 columns. And so each column is fairly wide. And of course, the height of the shelves is adjustable. So if I have a large item, I pull that shelf down. If I have just small items, I can, move it up. But the kitchen itself in here, this is the service kitchen. So it's got appliances, sink, and it has a little teeny countertop. That's all the space in here. Now over here, this is cabinetry, and it has a countertop too. But that's all the counter space that there is. And I said, I've got this massive wall of shelving. Is there any way that, let's say, right in the center of it, that we build a big open square with just a little bit more countertop?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have that redesigned. It's going to improve the function of working in this space. You pull something out of that. Let's say there's like 10 people here with a caterer working in this area. they're in the oven, where do they go with the hot tray? Where do they do this? So, it just gives an extra spot to set some items, or drink servers, or preparing appetizers, or, just to have that one more little bit of counter space. We think it will be worthwhile to do. And instead of just this big up and down wall, it'll have a piece of interest. I could put a painting in there. You could put vases in there with flowers. You can, it'll look a little different. So that was good that we made that decision too because once the sheetrock goes up, then the floors go in, and then the cabinetry starts. And that's going to start probably within 4 to 6 weeks, most likely 6 weeks. But so 6 weeks from now. So if I have any cabinetry decisions, I have to have them now.
Yeah.
Because I got to give them to the cabinetry maker,
Yeah.
right? So there's, you're always working further out, and you have to think how you're using the space. And, like I've always lived, right? I move into a house and I make the space work.
Right.
But this is like I'm getting to choose how I want to make the space work.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the exciting part. It's a lot of details. It's
Correct.
a lot of hours of paying attention to this stuff too. But, okay, so that's the service kitchen question. And then back over here into the kitchen. So again, they've been dropping sheetrock all throughout the house. It's on the second floor, out in the garage. We could look, do it however long a walkthrough you want to do on. But for the kitchen, we looked at the plug placements again.
Did you get that thing squared away with getting the plugs to hide?
Oh, right. So this is kind of a thing that people like now to put their plug in the cabinet, right? So there's a couple issues with it. So, people are doing it and it's cool or whatever, but I think we're going to decide against it. So there's a few things. First is when it's in the cabinet, now you have a code issue because you do have to have an electrical outlet every so often that's not in a cabinet. So we have to have some out. That's number one. So there will be some. The second is if it's a fixed item, let's say it's a coffee pot or a toaster or something that's going to sit on the counter regularly, and you're using that under thing plug, when you walk in, you're going to see this plug hanging or cord hanging from it. Whereas if it's sitting on the counter, you just put the coffee maker right in front of this, so you don't even see the plug. You just see the coffee maker instead of a string hanging.
Right.
Right. So if it's something that you unplug regularly, that's kind of a nice thing, right? But if it's a permanent item on your countertop, then it looks odd.
Yeah.
The third negative to that is when you put the electrical box inside the cabinet, now the use of your cabinet space is disrupted because there has to be an electrical box in there. So if you open the cabinet, you can't just put plates in there or put glasses in there.
Got it.
You'll be putting your glasses around, unless you build a false bottom to the shelf, and then you lose cabinet space.
Yeah.
So we're like, let's just go with traditional old outlets and walls, and we'll use the interior finish company to finish that to match the towels, and just let it blend in.
Yeah, I remember mentioning that there's some, like with the backsplash, like depending on how you go, whether it's tile and stuff, a lot of times they can have like a opening. Like it's like the backsplash, and it looks exactly the same, and then you just like lift it.
Right.
And then it's just like
now,
the plug is back there.
There's all kinds of ways to secretly hide electrical. You can do these, like on a countertop, you can push on it where it pops up.
Yeah.
You could do all kinds of stuff. And there's some plates, some cover plates that, like when the builder told me the price of it, I was like, what? This is a piece of plastic.
Yeah.
But all it is that the plate is flush with the sheetrock, so it's flush, and they sheetrock right up to it, and all you see is one little button that you just push a button.
Yeah,
I can't remember the brand name.
And it pops up?
Yeah, it's like two different brand names that they were talking about. And okay, so like what's a face plate? $1? Maybe $5. Okay, if you're going all out and buying a custom one, okay, $15.
Yeah.
So these these things are like, I don't know if she said over 100 or, I mean, it was some ridiculous amount of money, like 200. When she said the number, I was like, what? Okay, maybe we'll get two, but no, we decided against it altogether. So we're gonna paint the finish to match.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, so we've got our sheetrock here, and that's gonna start on Monday. So
Fun.
Yeah, and while the interior sheetrock's going up, they're going to start preparing the exterior of the house for stucco.
Stucco.
And so that whole stucco application is a really big process. So first they're going to put up some extra wrap. It's like it helps with drainage. So if water gets behind, that it can move down the wall and out. I guess there's some weep holes that it can move through. That way you don't have water trapped behind it. And then there's a series of steps for laving it on. And then the very final coat is the stucco coat with the paint color that we select. We're looking at paint colors right now as well.